Oh, this is all speculation though,
Yeah.
until that change happens.
Just so you know, we are live on YouTube now, so this is going to be recorded, so no more saying bad things about people. I think I have inventory placement on, so I don't mess around with the split shipments. And I think going forward, I think about it this way. If I load a box up and I know everything in that box is going to one center, it's just so much easier for me. Because what happens if I pack the box up, right? My Lowe's box, my 16 by 12 by 12 box I use every single week. And they're like, okay, well, now they're going to be splitting stuff into four different warehouses. So it's like, now I got to take these items out of the box. I got to play the game of I got a million boxes sitting around the house. I think you just honestly, I think you just add a buy cost until like Scoutly and Scout IQ update it so that it makes sense for you to actually just have it, all go to one place. So add an extra dollar into your buy cost or something along those lines to justify it, and you'll be
Hmm.
good to go. Because it just makes your life so much easier. I could never go back to the split shipment life. It's just too much. I know some people like trying to save the dollars because listen, you send a box of 100 DVDs, it's going to cost you probably $30 to have inventory placement on. And I know Eric did a little bit of studying in the background about actually just because you see that when you're doing the shipment, that's not what they charge on the back end. They're actually charging a lot less, right, Eric? You want to shine some light on that?
Yeah, it kind of depends. Like, if they planned for all of your inventory to go to said warehouse already before you had inventory placement on, it adjusts. It does, like, it's weird, but you'll see it in your payments tab. You'll see it sometimes they'll take out the full amount, sometimes it'll be half and half, other times it will be less. But from what I'm understanding with that March 1st update too, it's like you could do the free route and basically split all your shipments, or you get even charged anyway. Like I think it's around 30 cents or something minimum. So yeah, but for the most part, yes. It's not always the same because if they already planned for your inventory to go to, yeah, 27 cents. So if they already planned for your inventory to go to said warehouse, they wouldn't charge you. So it fluctuates. Like, for example, we just sent in 80 items. The inventory placement on that was around 20, I want to say 20 to $24 with $6 for the shipping, so around $30. Now I'm gonna keep on watching it to see because I've seen it before. They'll charge you way less, like around. It depends. So even though they said it's $24, sometimes it'll go down to 20, sometimes 15, sometimes the full amount. It just really depends.
So, have you guys figured out how much per like a 2 pound book would cost to get? Is there like a base, or is it based on weight for inventory placement?
Based on from what I've seen, it's based on weight, and since like for us, DVDs and CDs are really light. It's usually around 27 to 30 cents, depending on how heavy, because we send a lot of box sets in. So box sets will probably run you around a little over 30 cents, but for the most part, it's like 27 cents. Books, they could go higher depending. I couldn't imagine it going fit, unless it's like one of those coffee table books, probably close to $1. But if it's like a small, like soft cover or like a softback, paperback, it's probably around anywhere from like 50 cents or so. I know Golden State Picker, he usually sends a lot of books in, and he says his average, even though he has inventory placement on, his average is around 50 cents. So he just includes the 50 cents into his buy cost.
Do you so with inventory placement, does that make it faster for your items to get checked into? Like, doesn't Amazon end up splitting them once they hit the warehouse anyway?
Yes.
So, mhm.
But there'll be, in my experience, usually when you do inventory placement, usually it goes closer by. Like for me, usually when I do inventory placement, it sends it to the closest warehouse for me.
Mhm.
But I mean, you have FBA Head Start, the Head Start program, so your stuff's available for sale. Once UPS scans your box and it's on its way, all of your items are available for sale to customers. So I don't get too caught up with like how long it takes for the stuff to get checked in. And as you continue to send more, it really won't be a thing. But yeah, I mean, they're going to spread your stuff out regardless. Even if you split your stuff, it's not like you split it and they're not going to move anything. I guarantee you, they're still moving that stuff around.
So Here's just the quick math to make it more simple because their emails are convoluted. Just average out to $1.19 more per book. I'm only going to speak in book terms, CDs and DVD guys. Sorry, can't help you. For their, if it's not going to sell quickly, if it's going to sell quickly, average it down more to that 27 extra cents a unit. So if you had a very quick sell-through rate box, you're only eating another 30 cents per unit. Now, like Eric was saying, sometimes that may or may not occur depending if you go the optional route. As far as your stamps go, just double it. That makes it very simple. What you're paying now, if you just double it, that's quick and easy math. So for me, I expect for the weight of my boxes around 40, 41 pounds, sometimes 39. I'm going to be paying about $24 a box. That's whatever to me. That's 2 books in the box, maybe 1 book, or maybe even part of a book if it's an expensive book. It's just another cost. Not. I know everybody hates fees, but it's not going to change. There's going to be more fees next year, and the year after that, and the year after that.
I think placement.
For the
Go ahead, Steph.
Oh, for the Head Start program, I don't think I've ever even heard about that one. Does that incur any fees as well to do that? To join that program?
No, it's free. If you just put in the search bar on Amazon Seller Central, the website version, FBA or In Stock Head Start, I think it's called specifically, you actually be able to see if I'm pretty sure they automatically enroll everybody. For a while, we weren't doing it because what happens here is people order things, and you might get more refunds than usual because if they order it from the time UPS scans it, right, especially in your situation where it takes 3 weeks, the customer will see the date, like the estimated date. It'll be further than 2-day prime shipping. But you know how people are on Amazon, they return things for anything. So you might see a small uptick in returns, but it really doesn't matter because if your stuff never hits the inventory, it's not like it's going to be unfulfillable when the time comes. And it looks like Johnny put the link in the chat of Zoom for that program.
So basically, if I want to make sure I get this correct, they will once they scan your box hits the warehouse, they scan the barcode at the FBA warehouse, and then from that moment, even before they start receiving it, they become available, or is it once you ship it to the warehouse?
Once UPS scans it.
Box. Yeah. Once the pickup driver for UPS scans the box, your items are for sale.
Yep.
But on Amazon's website, it will display as longer to get to the buyer, correct? Because it's going to take up to 2 weeks.
You'll get it by between X date and X date, and in your inventory, it will show available 0, even though it really is available. It's just on its way, and then it will update once it gets to the warehouse and they start doing their shipping out to the other warehouses that they deem will sell better. So yeah.
So if let's say the item hasn't sold by the time that it finally gets received, does that shipping time update? So once it's actually available, once it's actually at the warehouse and they've received it, will it then say 2 days or whatever?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. So that's good.
There's really no harm in doing it, honestly. Me and Johnny thought about it because, like I said, 2 years ago we had it all off, but now it seems like check-in times. Unfortunately, your check-in times are not as good as ours, but it's off season for them, so I don't think there's any harm in having it turned on.
The only real thing you're going to run into trouble with is probably in Q4 around November, December, when people are wanting this as a Christmas gift or a birthday gift. So birthdays too can't really count for those, and they don't read that it's going to take longer than normal, so they'll issue a refund. So that's why for the refund return spike is for people who don't read the fine print if it takes longer to get to you. Because general consumers just think, oh, it's Amazon. I get 2 days shipping. It should be here in 2 days. They don't read. They miss it.
Do you guys think Amazon's ever been off on how long they give buyers, like, for example, like if they give buyers a certain amount of time frame for my book to get to them, but then it takes them longer to receive it?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's like when you buy something on Amazon. It happens to me and Deb all the time. It'll say order now and get it by tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes and it ain't showing up tomorrow. It's one of those things where they just overpromise everybody because they just want the sales rolling in. That's all it comes down to. I think that goes for anything you order on Amazon. They always try to make it seem like it'll be there within 20 minutes, and then 3 days later you're still waiting for it.
So think about all the chains of custody. They got to go pull and pack it just like we do if you do eBay. Then they got to give it to a postal clerk just like we do at eBay. And then they have to get it to the last destination and hope the driver or drop-off person doesn't throw it behind the bushes. I mean, there's only so much they can do, and they just give a best estimate. Now, they're professionals, and they do the best they can. They're a logistics company, and sometimes they're a laughable logistics company, but they do the best job they really can, honestly, despite all the chain of custody variants that go in there.
And does the uptick in returns from having the Head Start program, does that affect your seller metrics at all, or is it not a significant enough return rate?
No, it'll be a drop in the bucket, and the return rate has no effect on your account health or anything. Like you probably should never even be over like 5% total returns for the year when it comes to selling used media.
Yeah, I think I'm way below, I'm way below 1%. And with the Head Start program, you will see a lot more pending orders, which we have seen. But once the item actually hits Amazon, it's payment complete and sends it to the customer. So you will see, just be aware, you will see a lot. If it is in Head Start and customers are buying it, you will see an uptick in pending orders, and they will sit for a minute, but once it gets checked into the warehouse, everything will start going more smoother.
Now, just because it's up for sale doesn't mean it's like it is in the warehouse. I've noticed that stuff that's in transit that is for sale has no case sell-through rate. I wouldn't expect everything to be... I don't know the algorithm magic behind it, but I don't think everything is a buy box eligible that's in that box when they scan it. This is a hypothesis and a theory that I can't prove, but stuff does sell that's in that box and it's in its transit stage. Just don't expect it to sell like if it was already been received.
Okay, so you're saying that the sell-through rate is still a lot better once it finally does get checked into the warehouse.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, because to what Johnny said that I can attest to, I've looked at my inventory that I have sent in, and under buy box or featured offer, it just has a dash mark. At one point, I thought I lost the buy box for DVDs and CDs, but no, it's just that particular item went into Head Start, and at that time, it's not featured offer eligible. So once it does get checked in, then it does go featured offer eligible.
Okay, thank you guys.
No problem. Mercy, what's up? Mercy's trying to hire somebody part-time to help her get through all the inventory she has. So she has a question about help hiring and employment. Well, you got Max and Johnny. They both have lots of employees, so they'll be able to give you concrete evidence.
Okay. Hi everyone. So I'm just figuring out this stuff. For those of you who don't know me, I know I've spoken to Mike, but I started in October, so I'm pretty new in this whole thing. I've had incidences where I've gotten help, for example, like calling someone to help me offload the truck when I get inventory. I do get loads. That's what I'm doing now. So that's my main source of inventory. And I'm wondering, do I pay someone out of pocket, or should I use my business account to pay them? And if I pay them using the business account, is that going to be a tax write-off? And then two, the same with getting help, because right now I'm at the point where I'm due in 2 months. I'm due in April. And so I've really, really slowed down when it comes to packing stuff and all that stuff. And I'm looking at getting someone to help me. Well, not only one person, but probably two. But when I read on contractors and part-time employees, there's just a lot that is involved. And I'm scared that if I bring in someone as for example, as a part-timer, I might be slapped on the face with some penalties, because I'm not in the position to go into offering them some of the benefits that I think the IRS or the state might want them to have. How should I go about this? If I get someone, for example, and ask them to help me, should I pay them out of pocket and not put them in the business as like, you're employed to help me do this and that? I don't know how to go about all that, but I need help.
Johnny, I'll let you start.
Okay. One, yes, pay them out of your business account. Two, they're going to be a 1099 contract worker until you're a bit bigger. As far as penalties go, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Just keep track of the grand total you paid this individual. As long as it's above $600 or $700, then you're going to have to 1099 them. You can go up to H&R Block, give them the total. As long as you give them their address, social security, and name, and the amount, they'll even mail the document out for you and do the document for you. Cost you $50 or less. Actually, I think it's like $35 plus a $5 filing fee. So $40, they're done. Or $35 for the filing and plus 10 more bucks. So you're at $45 if you go the H&R Block route. Something to be said for paying them quote unquote under the table, but since it's a recording, I refuse to go into that, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Max.
Mercy, how is your store doing now? How's your business?
I've just started. I'm getting a couple of bucks a month, like 1,000 now. So it's pretty small. Yeah.
1,000 a month, 1,000 a week. What are your numbers?
Around 1,500, around 1,500 to 2,000 a month right now. And I've not been doing much, for sure. I haven't been doing much. It's been hard for me. That's why I'm needing help.
Right.
You know.
And this is for eBay or Amazon or both?
Amazon.
Amazon.
I haven't gone into eBay, but I plan to. Later, I plan to. That's in the radar.
Right. Well, if you don't have time for Amazon yet, slow down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, Johnny B may agree or disagree with me here, but I would say to you that all you need is, I heard you say 2 employees. I think you just need 1 employee to help you get your books listed, either FBA or merchant fulfilled. But the name of the game for you at this stage is just to get inventory into whatever platform you're doing. I almost, I have a little bit more of a tough love approach. I feel like you're over worrying about a stage you don't have to worry about yet.
Okay.
I think you need to buy good books, the books that will sell. Get as many of those listed into your business, whether it's eBay or Amazon, and if you have to, and pay an employee, of course, with a 1099, but just focus on getting the books first. Don't worry about everything else that potentially can crash down your business. I think that a lot of newer sellers do that. They estimate the bad things that happen in this business, and they stop looking for the books that make their money for their business.
Let me give you a little bit more insight. So she has basically almost an unlimited source of Gaylords. I'm not going to disclose her location or anything, because she did have a one-on-one with me, and we were kind of talking about how to work through it. And I did say the contractor route would be the way to go. But she is, if you kind of didn't understand what she said, she's 7 months pregnant, ripping through Gaylords at her house. So nobody has an excuse to be, a slacker in this business. So I do think a part-timer to at least help her move the weight, especially if she wants to continue this journey like she does, as she maternity leave, things like that, as she has a newborn. We have gone into family and friends. She doesn't have anybody in her immediate area, so that's kind of out the question. So like when it comes to 1099, I'm curious, Johnny, like you didn't know the people you hired. How did you go about doing that? Was this like a Facebook post, a Craigslist ad? And with 1099 contractors, you're not responsible to provide health insurance and all of those items. So that, I think contractors, the only route for you, Mercy, because you don't want to have the headaches of withholding their taxes and the health insurance that comes with having a real employee. This could happen down the road for you, right? Maybe you hire a superstar, but starting out, I do think a contractor would be great for her to kind of get on board and just kind of get into the business and, not have her climbing in Gaylord's, 8 months pregnant.
Yeah, I mean that definitely enlightens the story a little bit, being 7 months pregnant. I think it definitely sounds like she needs someone to move the books and dig into the Gaylords and scan for her.
Yes.
So Mercy, are you going to be able to teach that person step 1 to step 4?
Yes. The only thing that I'm going to do is list, because I'm the one who will determine what the prices.
Right.
Yeah, that is what I plan to do. But then the rest of the process, I would like someone to take over that. And just to let you know, right now, my garage is full. I have 4 get loads that need to be worked on. I have some books that we've already scanned. Well, I scanned before, but they need to be, cleaned and put in the box and shipped out. So I have inventory right now. I have the DVD, I have the media and books, but I was just confused at what should I do, because I'm not in a position to give medical insurance and all that stuff. No. I really don't want to go into that stuff.
Yeah, like Johnny B said, do the 1099, then then it's a contract worker. You're not responsible for that. You don't need to be. You already have 4 Gaylords, so you just need to find someone. I mean, I have 3 employees, and 2 of them came from Office Depot. I just found unhappy Office Depot workers, and just they would always ask me, well, why am I buying so many boxes? Why am I buying so much tape? And if you can enlighten them into a conversation, you may be able to interest them. I'm sure they could work a couple hours a day, and from your garage, and maybe even take a couple boxes of books home. And the idea of an employee being able to work from home is very enticing to a lot of people nowadays.
Wow! So I already have someone that I interviewed this on Monday, and she seems she's already interested. So, and she's just my neighbor, actually. She's just my neighbor. She's just across the street. So she's interested. I was just wondering how to bring her in. And I understand that QuickBooks has that 1099 thing, right? How do I onboard her?
You can print out a 1099 from Google.
Yeah, it's free.
Okay.
You don't need to do QuickBooks. I don't even think she's going to be working more than 20 hours a week for you.
No, so I was suggesting that she does maybe like 3 days a week.
Right.
And that is like maximum 5 hours. I don't plan on letting her go more than 5 hours.
Right.
On that. And and as far as pay goes, I was thinking of paying her like every 2 weeks. So how do I pay a 1099 person? Contractor?
Yeah, Johnny B, I pay my employees weekly. I don't know if you do weekly or whatnot. So I mean, I advise paying weekly, but that's
weekly.
That's a personal choice. I think you should pay $1 or $2 over minimum wage to start, and then give them a 30-day incentive. If they last 30 days with you, you give them a little bit more, because if they last 30 days, they're going to be able to help you tremendously. I think you can start tomorrow. There's no reason why you can't start implementing a new employee for your business.
And then how do I log them in? Like how do I track their work? Do I write it on paper?
They're working from your house, aren't they?
Yes.
The time they walk in, the time they leave, that's how many hours they worked.
So we don't enter it in a system or something?
Don't have to.
I think you want to enter it into a system, but I don't think you need to enter it into it. Not yet. Not until you have 2 or 3 employees floating around a day and you have
Okay.
to, and with one employee, they can send you a text when they get in and send you a text when they leave, and then you have documentation of their time. But I would call her and have her start tomorrow.
How do you pay? Cash? Is she going to give this person cash every week? Or for me personally, I am 1099 behind the scenes for different things. I get paid through PayPal. But I'm just curious for Max and Johnny, you have employees. Are you just paying these people cash? Are you
I pay through a business account and a checkbook.
Cash money.
Hmm.
And,
Johnny B's liquid like that.
and I pay
Okay,
by the day.
so you pay through cash,
Yeah.
and how do you account for that when it comes to well, you're getting it out of the business still, right? So
Yeah, it
are
comes
you
out of
going
business
to
account. Yes.
so you just withdraw it and give it to them? So how do you record that in your business account? Because I know that later, like the bookkeeper will ask me, what did you use this money for, right?
How many hours the employee work? X times amount of hours equals Y, and that's the answer to the accountant.
Okay.
So you can do weekly tracking, monthly tracking, or the time frame. I don't know how often you visit your accountant. It can be a yearly thing if you want. Here's another alternative for you. If you're a registered business, and you should be.
I'm registered, yes.
Okay. You can go up to your local high school, and you can go up to your local colleges and offer volunteer hours to come work for you, and you sign it off as like an internship, or if they need scholarship or their college hours working outside of school kind of deal. People have success with that. The people have not success with that. The problem you're going to run into is usually they're kids and they're unreliable and they're not getting paid.
Yeah.
That's the issue. You go with that route. I would say get your weight class a little bit up more as far as money before you hire an employee, but you're 7 months pregnant, so you get a free pass from Johnny B. Go ahead and hire somebody.
Johnny B, can she start tomorrow? Can the employee start tomorrow?
She can start tonight after this call if you really want.
Come on, Mercy, let's go.
I got questions
Okay,
here.
so
when she gives this person cash, should she have them sign like a paper receipt, kind of like the receipt books we have, to show like it actually exchanged hands?
You don't need to when it's cash. I mean, if it ever needs to be qualified and check, I withdraw the total amount I assume she's going to work on a weekly basis, and I pay her daily. And there's a paper trail from the bank to my withdrawal fees. If there's ever a question, I can point this withdrawal amount went toward her salary. All the IRS really counts is how much did you pay them for the year, what's their social security, what's their name, and what's their mailing address. If they ever call you out in an audit, they'll want to see your records at that. But I have records, and it's the same amount every week, so I know exactly how much it is. If she calls in sick, well, I keep that extra cash floating around. But and she makes up her hours, and as far as the IRS is concerned, it was this amount for this many hours, this amount for this many hours on a weekly basis. It's the same amount.
Thankfully, audits are incredibly rare.
Yes, I don't expect it to ever be an issue, but if it is, I can just go pull a bank statement, and here it is for the month. Here's 12 months worth of bank statements. Here, let me circle it in red for you, Mr. IRS man. If I ever get audited, that's how that would go.
Okay, so should I just like call her and tell her, hey, can you come and start working tomorrow? Or is there like information that I need to get from her?
Social Security, mailing address, their full legal name.
Okay. And no, I shouldn't get her ID or anything like that.
We don't need it unless it makes it easier to write down their physical address and their legal name.
I know her address. She's just my neighbor.
Sure.
Okay, so this 1099, I should just go on Google and when do we even give them this thing? Sorry, I'm just learning this.
Last week of filing is January of 2025 if you're hiring them this year.
Okay.
And all the situations I dealt with, I got a 1099 basically before I got paid. So I had to fill out my 1099 before I received a payment. So like once I got onboarded, I filled out the 1099 right away. It wasn't like one of those things that was kind of down the road. So I would just have her fill it out right away, keep it in your file somewhere safe, and then you can, do the 1099 at the end of the year.
Okay.
Good luck, Mercy.
Thank you.
Should be good. She's a hustler. She made it this far. Like I said, 7 months digging through Gaylords. Ain't nobody got nothing on that in here, that's for sure. Brian, you got another hiring question. Everybody's hiring people. I can't even get my damn cats to work.
Well, yeah, so I've been listening to tons of books when I've been sourcing and driving, and I've been driving a lot, like going out of town, and I'm trying to hit libraries for the most part that have ongoing book sales, and sometimes thrift stores too, but it costs a little bit more, so I try to stick to the libraries. I have like basically I listen like the E-Myth and 10 times or 10x is easier than 2x and all these things that are saying to hire and that I need to be able to replace myself in it eventually. And for now, I was thinking potentially going on Craigslist or something. And let's say I was going to go to Cleveland area a few days before or something, put an ad out there for that, and then basically have somebody meet me. Like I would do the research ahead of time and call all these see where all the books are and stuff. And if a place has like a really big area, have like 1 or 2 people meet me there. I give them like a old iPhone that I have, like, and a scanner and the software on there, and show them how to do it and everything, and then just kind of like roll through everything a lot faster everywhere. Because I feel like I'm spending the time and the gas and stuff to get out there, and I'm not bringing back as much as I could be if I have to spend that much either way. So to see if anybody had done that or had any thoughts about that.
Yeah, I actually have done that. I would say, do you have a plan of what you would do with the time that you are buying to have somebody go source for you? Do you have like an actual idea of what you would do to make money on top? Yeah, basically, that's my question.
Well, right now they wouldn't be replacing me. They would be meeting me, and like I'll drive like an hour and a half somewhere one day, and then I'll hit all the places there. So instead of having somebody come with me and paying them for like the drive time and everything, since it's pretty remedial work, I feel like I could just get somebody there and have them come with me, and then we can roll through all the places then, because I'm always running out of time. Like I try to get there to where right at 10 o'clock I'm there at the first one, and then by the time they're all closing, I'm still out there sourcing and I'm out of time.
Personal opinion, instead of trying to hire the local people in that area, I would just have a person where they, or a list of people where they're on call, and because every time you do this, you're going to have to retrain these people, or because you're getting a new it's like getting a new employee each and every time in each and every sale. I would rather just I train them once and they're just on call when I need them in a true part-time sense. And it may be a 4-hour drive. I would just kick them back the gas money, honestly, and then their hourly wage while they're working. If I was doing something like
that. There kind of is no training though. Like on this, it's like they would literally just put greens in one pile and I'd go over and double check them before we buy them. And
the issue with that is there's false negatives and false positives. A 0 can pop green, and a red could be $100 book if you just examine the data properly. That's the issue.
Okay,
it's not just a game of red-green.
So it sounds like you're having a hard time processing all of the books, scanning all of them for green or red, right? It's taking you too long.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through every book in a city, and it's like suburbs in a day, and it's not really possible. And so I was just thinking, even if I was paying $25 an hour, like $200 for a day, they would definitely make me way more than that if they came with me all day.
How many different places do you have to, like when you go and you try to source in an area, how many stores are you able to fit into your stop list in an 8-hour day?
Usually I find like 3 or 4, or at least 2 or 3 big ones that take over an hour or something, and then a bunch of them are kind of short stops. I don't know, maybe at least 10, maybe 15, depending on like how long I'm staying there.
And
Like,
you use database mode?
excuse me?
Do you use database mode?
Like the where I download it, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough for me to kind of think about it because, like Johnny said, I mean, how many reds do I buy now while I'm outsourcing? And you completely lose that. But what Brian's saying is, even just off the greens, even if they miss the reds, he still leaves profit behind, but he still makes money on the deal overall throughout the day. So like, it's
Like I'm trying to clear out a whole city, so it's like I don't care if I'm missing a few reds here and there because I'm getting, like, right now I'm leaving a giant boxes of greens in these cities that I'm paying the same amount of gas to go to either way and spending the same amount of time there. And I don't know, like there's this one place in Indiana that is like huge. Like they say they have like 250,000 books or something there. And I mean, I was thinking like, I mean, I'm not actually going to do this because I don't have the setup to do it, but realistically, I could have like 10 people go in there and like 4 hours and like cover the entire place or something. You know what I mean? Like, and otherwise it would take me literally months because they're only open a couple of days every few weeks or something. So I don't know. I'm just trying to
If
think.
you're okay with leaving some money behind because you're going to clear more of what they actually bring, you could go that route. The only issue I now see you running into is if you pick one person and that one person doesn't show, now you're screwed for the day unless somebody opens your emergency post of I need somebody right now, and you raise the bar what they would pay them. That's the only problem I see with what you're trying to do, given the okayness of leaving money behind.
I mean, I don't see it as leaving money behind. I see all the thrift stores I don't have time to even walk in is me leaving money behind.
No,
Like
you're leaving money behind.
You're leaving money behind. Yes.
But I think the trade-off works in your favor from what you're saying. I would honestly, I would just give it a shot. Hire somebody, see how it goes, see how much of a pain in the ass it's going to be, right? Because we can all sit here and say, oh, it's going to be easy to just say, here, give me your hand. Here's a scanner. Go scan. And whatever says green buys. But we all know people aren't. I mean, the catch is nobody, in your mind, nobody's going to work nowhere near as hard as you work, right? So Johnny shows up. He's a lazy-ass bum. He's scanning one shelf of books, and it's been an hour, and you've already blown through everything, right? And you're like, shit, what's going on? I think as long as you can accept the fact that you don't know what you're walking into every single day, I think it's perfectly fine. I would give it a whirl. You ain't got nothing to lose. Who cares if you lose $100 a day, $150? You're going to learn throughout the process. You're going to, refine the way you approach every situation, and you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know how fast the person is going to be. But I do think it'd be a good experiment because, like you said, the volume you're hitting, you're going to hit more accepts than the rejects you leave behind. So I would give it a whirl, see what happens. Just Craigslist it, next door it, Facebook it, and see how it goes.
I look for one specific person and eat the drive time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not totally opposed to the idea. I just don't think that. I really feel like it's the most simple thing ever. And even if they do it crazy slower, I can't see any way that I would ever lose money on it, to be honest. Like, if, let's say, like I said, let's say I'm paying $25 an hour, which is more than I would probably pay anyway, I'm sure. And they do 8 hours, so that's $200. If they do even a mediocre scanning job for like a 2-hour shift, that should cover well more than what they're getting paid. Like, even if they were dicking around the whole time, I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, just make sure you have the plan, like Johnny said, because if your person doesn't show up, you're back to square one. I don't want it to, like, all right, you line up Johnny, right? Johnny says he's going to be there on Friday when you're showing up. And then Johnny says, the hell with you, Brian, I ain't showing up. I don't want that to, like, deter you from, like, all right, getting out there still busting your ass, because probably 9. I mean, I don't know what the percentage is going to be, but a lot of people are going to flake out. Just in my experience from kind of dealing with pickups and other people helping you out. I mean, just think about, you call a friend or family, like, hey, can you come over tonight to help me move a couch? And then you get a text 5 minutes before they're supposed to be there. Oh, I can't make it. So just plan for the worst. But, I mean, yeah, I think you should give it a shot. I don't think there's any harm in doing it. And just like you said, just let them scan.
I would pay them more than, like well over minimum wage to kind of help alleviate that a little bit. But the other thing, too, is, I mean, down the road, it could even be like a thing where, like, let's say I hired 2 people in Cleveland and we go around and we hit like everything in the suburbs and everything all day. One of them's okay, and one of them seemed like he's pretty good. Keep in contact with them and eventually maybe have like a VA or something that can like make my schedule for me. Be like, okay, Tuesday you're going to be out like south of Chicago. I've got 2 guys, James and Thomas. Like, I already made the, like, I already got them. They're going to be coming and everything. You need to bring this and this. And where I could just kind of show up and almost supervise the run, you know what I mean? But like, I would still obviously be doing it, but kind of like I would be scanning, but I'd also be looking and seeing like what we're all coming up with at certain places and be like, okay, do I want to cut my losses at this place and go to the next one? And just that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead, Johnny.
There were some shoe sellers that did something similar to what you're doing. Husband and wife duo, the dog as well, because they lived like in rural area in Maine, and they would do these things in advance. But they already had what you're talking about, that end goal, the established network people that they worked with previously. But they did it in mass. They went into whole cities of like 25 people, in them, and that's how they would do it. And they no longer do that because I think they just got too much inventory, and they were the ones that had to process. The getting it was one thing, but they just got too much over a period of time, and the business evolved to just them at the husband and wife team, and I think a couple full-time employees. I think what you're saying will work. I think at the end of the day, though, you may migrate to more established people like you're talking about here. I think you're going to go through a lot of headache.
Kind of like a step in, this is like my first go in, and then
it's a very much shotgun approach, and you'll get shotgun results instead of scalpel-like results.
Right. Like right now, like I said, sometimes I get like a hotel for a night just because I'm like, man, I drove really far to get here. Like, I have a Google Maps thing that puts the little red dots everywhere I've been, and so I'll just look at it and be like, all right, there's like a little, like, if I go southeast, I never hit this city or anywhere all the way up there. And like, I feel like I get the best stuff from all the random libraries, not in the cities. Like, they're in between them all. Because like the cities always seem to have either it feels like there's been scanners already because I'm getting really low accepts on it, or they have some like rule where they're like, oh, like Chicago, I don't think they have any books for sale in any of the Chicago branches, because I was there the other day, but like all the suburbs do, and like all the places in like the middle of the Midwest and stuff, like you just go to a library or something that like maybe 10 people went there all day or something. Like those places seem to have a lot of books.
How far do you drive to get to like Chicago and other cities? How far is it from you?
I've been driving a ton lately because I'm trying, like, I just kind of started this and I'm trying to really get a whole bunch of inventory, and I don't know of a better way currently, but I mean, I do locally, I do everything within a half hour, anything within an hour. Like, say once a week, I wake up like really early and drive, I don't know, never over 3 hours, but I've gone up to like 3 hours a few times, and then I'll stay there and maybe get a hotel for the night and just kind of just do it 2 straight days.
Are you shipping the stuff you're getting? Are you taking it back to the home trip and shipping it from your home? Because I think you may run into the issue I was just talking about. You're going to get swamped with too much inventory. You're going to have to plan to ship it at whatever hotel or whatever wherever you're at.
Right now, I'm just bringing it home, but I eventually I keep
like what if the team Brian comes back and they bring 2,000 books in total? Or let's just say more than your vehicle can hold. then that'd be a great problem to have. But that's still going to be a problem you're going to have at some point, potentially.
All right. I mean, if I feel like there's anything remotely like a chance like that, then I'll bring like my Rolo and like my laptop and stuff, and just be prepared that I could always just go get a hotel and do it. You know?
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I would just start. I would start gearing your mind, because it sounds like you're going to do this, which is kind of cool. It's nothing I wouldn't do, but different businesses, everybody's free to do what they want. Start planning for worst case scenarios, and just have if this happens, this is how I'm going to handle it. If this happens, this is how I'm going to handle it. No shows, too much inventory. Did I bring packing supplies? Just whatever you may think you may encounter.
Right now, I'm still cash poor because every time I get money in, I'm going out of town and I'm buying tons of books with it and just sending as much in and then having shipping costs and stuff. But I feel like I'm on the brink of it kind of catching up, you know?
Yeah, I would go ahead, Steph.
I would just be very careful, because when I first started like really going hard with FBA, I started hiring before I was ready. And like you just said, you're cash poor right now. That could be a dangerous zone to start paying somebody up front, because they'll be making more money than you for a while. And right. You don't want to get behind on any bills. Like, I personally recommend waiting till you have more money to spend, because having employees is going to be cash heavy, intensive.
Yeah, this is not an immediate goal. It's just more like literally I listened to 6 different books. They're all talking about how to hire and like why you need to and all this. So I'm just kind of making a mental plan of how I can start dipping my toes into it when I can. And then, I don't know, I've got more ideas past that, but that's just like the kind of beginning part, at least. Like right now, I'm doing this either way. Like, I mean, I'm going out there and driving and scanning either way. So it's like, I just feel like I can't see any scenario where I wouldn't have more money coming back doing it. I mean,
once you get to that point, I mean, like, I don't want to get personal with your finances, but like, I mean, if I'm literally down to like, you know, under $1,000, whether or not, you know, I'm going to be able to make my bills, I'm definitely not hiring somebody. I mean, yeah, it doesn't seem like a lot. You pay somebody $150, but I mean, that adds up pretty quick. I just think about if you just scan, you know, I don't know. It's a hard thing to kind of go either way on, because like you said, there's infinite profitable media items out there. You just got to be willing to scan them, and by hiring somebody, all of a sudden you're scanning, you know, 1.5 times the amount you were previously. So it's all a balancing act. Yeah, I do think, you know, I don't think there's any problem with doing what you're going to do in the future. Just, you know, like you said, you're at that weird point with Amazon where the money's not catching up yet, but once it does, all of a sudden you can start turning and burning. The same thing kind of happened to Jimmo there, where they were holding on to a lot of his money, but once you cross that threshold one time and it's consistent, then the sky's the limit. So I would just keep busting your ass like you're doing now by yourself, and then boom, once that clears and you kind of break the levee almost, and all of a sudden you're getting those consistent, you know, every day you go in, you hit request payment, it's $500, that's way more than you're ever going to need. Then all of a sudden you're like, all right, well, here we go, I'm hiring somebody this weekend, give it a shot, and you'll learn the hard way, but it'll be fun, and you know, you'll make more money doing it.
No, more money if you don't hire anybody, I promise.
What was that?
I love the money. I've had up to 15 employees. It's so much better not having them. I ran 15 at one time, and good gosh almighty. Yeah, I'll wait till I get to $5 million a year before I hire anybody. Maybe a little less.
Yeah, I think you scale and go from there. Kind of like Steph said, you don't want to be so poor and kind of, you know, you don't feel like you're making any progress, and you're close. I mean, I've talked, you know, we have one-on-ones, me and Brian, so his numbers are almost there for where he needs to be, and you know, you'll learn along the way what works best.
I'm getting roughly a little under 20 sales a day.
Yeah.
And average sales price around 20 or something. Yeah. And it keeps going up.
Yeah, Brian's been running it up since he's fairly new. I remember the first one-on-one I had with him. I was like, how much you got in inventory? He's like, 1,000. I'm like, dude, you call yourself fairly new. I'm like, you got 1,000 in inventory already. He's like, that's not enough. I'm like, yeah, well, most people are like, yeah, that's enough. So yeah, he's rocking and rolling over there for sure.
Yeah, like 2,300 now, and started December.
Yeah, so I mean, you'll get it higher and higher. I think the idea you have in your mind, it'll work out for you, and there'll be trials and tribulations with anything we do, especially when it comes to bringing on another human being into the business. So yeah, I think you're on the right track with that, the right mindset. It's just getting there. Yeah, I mean, phew, we kind of blew this hour out the water here. We're already 15 minutes in. Max hasn't even said anything about the trillions of dollars he's making on eBay. I sold a book on eBay this week, so
I
everybody,
watched your video today, and
I
you sold
know.
a couple books on eBay.
That was last week. I sold 3 books on
Okay.
eBay. World record. I don't know if I'll ever top it, but hey, here we are.
I
I,
know you're doing well because you're not calling it Flea Bay anymore.
Listen, I might launch a course. That's all I'm saying. All right, be on the lookout. 99999.99. That's the early bird special price. I sold my Dune book on eBay for $79. I know. I mean, I got it for free from the library.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. So Max, what's going on with the eBay world? Give us a little bit of a fill in here of what you're seeing
You
on
can't
eBay.
you can't see next to me?
Yeah. Well, you just had a crazy pickup from what? A pastor, right?
Yeah, that was yesterday, but I got books coming in every day right now. I'm going to be burning some hours tonight.
What are you
Pricing books.
seeing? What are you seeing in the market on eBay?
Business is phenomenal right now. So I don't know. I get a little angry when I see all these YouTubers talking about algorithms and complaining about eBay. I mean, eBay has its own issues, but it's not the issues they talk about. I think eBay has buyer and seller issues about how to treat both parties equally or fairly. But I don't know. I mean, if you've been with me long enough, you know that I just feel like the books are everywhere. Go find them, learn how to find them, and they're going to sell every day. I
I'm
mean,
I'm curious with you. Do you look at like your year over year numbers or like your week over week? So like on Amazon on the app, it shows you like how much you're up versus last year and the past 7 days automatically. Do you look at that stuff on a daily
yeah,
basis?
yeah. I don't. I look at it. I glance at it. I don't care about it. I have a daily number. That daily number is 1,000 a day. Um, and so if I hit that number, I know we're on the right path.
Fair enough. I was
Yeah,
just curious.
you can number yourself to death in this
Yeah,
business,
you can. Oh
and
my
you have to
god.
learn which ones you want to care about and which ones you want to be put your head in the ground on. I mean, if I did $1,200 today, but that's 7% less than I did last week, who the f cares? I was a school teacher 4 years ago, making $52,000 a year.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
I agree. I think there is a lot of. I think that's such a good point. There's so many numbers we can get caught up with, and the ones we pick and choose are so silly sometimes. Like Johnny said in the chat, like how much are you actually profiting? Just because you have more sales doesn't
right,
mean you're making more money. In a lot of cases, it's the exact opposite. You have more sales and you're making less money. A lot of these businesses, especially the Amazon businesses, the people that push crazy numbers, their margins are a lot lower than us media sellers. So it is kind of weird to think about, Max. Like it's you can't let the numbers kind of run you into the ground because
yeah,
listen, not every day is going to be a great day. Not every day is going to be a $3,000 day in Max's case, and
right.
some days
But
suck.
no matter what, and I've said this to Johnny B several times, but there's no better ROI than the used book market.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
That's why we can't complain about fees
yeah,
going up, right? Like, who cares? Like, yeah, media mail goes up, but I mean, we have something to deter every single fee increase probably for the next
right,
3 years. Like, our
oh,
margins should still be
right.
rock solid.
And if media fees go, if the rate of sending a book goes up, we just raise ours a little bit more. I mean, this isn't rocket science. I mean, this is just basic math numbers and fitting it into your fitting into the way you do business.
I think
I care. I'll tell you what I care about. I care way more about customer relations and making my customers happy than whether I'm 7% down from month to month.
I think the CD guys have the best rate of return, honestly. I mean, books are great, don't get me wrong, but the CD guys, I mean, people people look at a book and think maybe some value. CDs, people look at it, no value, and they're like, just take it. Just take it.
I mean, anything in the media world. I always tell everybody, get your buy cost down to as little as you can. and like I recorded and one of my stupid outtakes for my YouTube video, and the file got corrupted. And I was talking about the huge difference it makes that I shop on half off days. If I thrift 2 days a week and they're half off days, and I'm spending roughly on a thrifting day, I'm probably spending anywhere between $500 to $1,000 on inventory. If I didn't do that, my price goes up. Now I'm at 1,000 to 2,000. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you have thousands of items, you're putting thousands of dollars back into your pocket. And I mean, just look at the leverage you have when you buy in bulk. We pay 10 cents a CD, 10 cents a DVD. I mean, if anything, you get 5 cents back from Mike over in the Discord for your dud, right? So you're basically right there. It's a win-win situation with media. And yeah, it's a lot of work and it sucks, but you're never going to beat the ROI. Build a relationship, get it for nothing. I mean, you can do whatever you want in this business. You want to hire somebody? Sure, go for it. You want to, you want to make $1 million yourself? Go for it. You can do whatever you want in media. It's just, I think what happens here is we kind of get distracted and we start going one way or the other way. I want to do CDs. I want to do cassettes. I want to do records, and then you just half-ass everything. And it is kind of important here. If something's not working, it's okay to you don't want to sell books. Don't sell books. If you want to be the CD, DVD guy, I mean, that's what Eric's doing this year. Books aren't his thing no more. Well, that's perfectly fine, but just know you're going to have to find more CDs, more DVDs to make it work, and he's making it work. He's having great results since leaving. I'm curious, Eric, how do you feel when you go into a thrift store now and you don't mess around with the books?
My back feels 20 pounds lighter.
Yeah, so does your wallet, too.
Oh, man. I mean, it's crazy now. Now that I go into a Goodwill, and by the grace of God, with the knowledge that I've gained from the group and own personal experience, I can go into a Goodwill, spend about 30 to 45 minutes, scan the shelves, and pick out a lot. Just yesterday, I was kind of upset, though, because I found, what was it? Rick Stevens color DVD box set. Perfect. Buy cost was up about $8, but it was going for about $60 on Amazon. Now, I have had the issue of not checking box sets, so I checked this box set. Everything was good up until the last case. It had one disc missing, and I was like, yeah, nope, putting it back. But yeah, ever since then, going in Goodwill, building those relationships. Just yesterday, I got a discount just for being friendly to the girl that I always see all the time. Like, hey, how you doing? And she recognized me, going back and forth. So relationships, the knowledge base that we have, seeing other people go in after and try to scan. And I'm just like, oh, okay, try to talk to them too. Who knows? Because what others deem as a dud for their business could be a buy for our business. So you just never know what you're going to run into.
Yeah, I got a good thing to kind of bring up here. We have somebody over in the chat, Jay from Westchester, Pennsylvania, about an hour and a half from me. He says Goodwill's inventory is predictable by store. Some have tons of books and some don't. He hit it right on the head. And my Goodwills now, I used to have one Goodwill that was really good. I was going to once every 2 weeks. The books were phenomenal. Well, now what happened with all the Goodwills in Pennsylvania, at least from my knowledge, is everything is ticketed at a central location. So what does this mean? You go donate something to your local Goodwill, they're not pricing it at that Goodwill. That stuff is getting sent to a distribution center where it's being looked up in price and then redistributed. So what happens here is every single book now and every single Goodwill around me has been scanned because it's coming from a distribution center. Even if Eric donated the books today, them books are not going to the shelf. They are going to the pricing center. And now, if it doesn't have a price, they're not allowed to sell it. And what do? They send it right back to the distribution center. This is why I try to tell everybody it's so important to diversify how you're getting these items. Because, listen, my books at Goodwill are going to be absolute trash. And if I don't even kid around when I say I see these poor booksellers that only sell books, and they'll be in there scanning and they leave with nothing. And I'm at the DVDs and CDs filling up a bag. You have to have as many tools on your belt as you can. And if you're only the book guy in my area and Goodwill is your main source, all of a sudden you're SOL. You got nothing. You're never going to find another profitable book. You might find a few that slip through the cracks, but I think this is going to be something they roll out nationally. Because think about it, their online presence is bigger than it's ever been. So why not send
Yep.
everything to a distribution center and say, all right, we're keeping all the good stuff for ourselves. We'll send all the junk out to the stores. Thankfully, they don't want to get involved with DVDs and CDs yet, so that opportunity's still there for me. But if that happens, then guess what? My CDs and DVDs now suck as well. So have that in your mind to start thinking about relationships. I know it sucks having conversations, and a lot of us don't want to be like, yo, I sell crappy media for a living, like. But this is how you win in this game. I'm here to tell you, like, you get some ongoing relationships, and the sky's the limit. Everybody here, Max has relationships, Johnny has relationships. You guys know I'm at the libraries all the time with my relationships. This is an infinite source. The library is not getting knocked down. It's a brand new library. As long as I'm within driving distance, every single month I will get free books. It's crazy to me that you can have these opportunities just by stupid relationships, conversations, Craigslist posts, next door ads. That's how you win. I mean, that's how I got my library, through Craigslist. Who even goes on Craigslist anymore? I don't know. Libraries, apparently. So here I am.
I have a little bit of a question for Max. Is Max still there?
He's here.
Okay, cool. This has got to do with more antiquarian stuff to put up on eBay.
Yeah.
I just got a box full of like Pulp Fiction books from the 60s, but they do have a little bit of a musty odor. I have sold items on eBay before that did have that, like, it just, that typical, like, it smells like it was in an attic, that scent. They don't have mold on them or anything. Do I actually have to go out of my way to put them in an ozonizer, or can I just put them up on eBay and put that they have that musty smell with,
I would
in
say
the
this.
description?
I would say this to you. Have you priced them out already?
No.
Okay. Do you know if they're very rare?
No, I kind of just looked up what the lots go for on eBay. So just mixed lots from the same year. And I was able to figure out that they were worth putting up that way.
But what if you have, you could have some very rare ones too.
That's true.
And like, you could have, I'll just throw an author's name out here. You could have some of the 1960s black exploitation paperback novels by the author Goines, Goines. Those are $50 a piece. I wouldn't put those in a lot of 4 or 5 other books just from the 1960s. Number one, I would do my research on them because that is a great market of rare books, especially rare paperbacks. Number two, if you do want to get that smell out, there's a lot of ways to do that. I don't use the way that the ionizer. I don't use that way to do it. I put books in a like a beer cooler, and I put what's the stuff you put in your refrigerator? I'm forgetting right now.
Baking soda?
Baking soda, and I'll put a dryer sheet in there, and I'll close it up for a week. That will take care of it.
I would, listen, Max was talking about doing knowledge. My knowledge is Max when it comes to old books. So if you don't have Max's number, reach out to him. He's on Instagram. What is it? Common Ground Finds?
Common Ground Finds.
And
so Max,
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
So you do recommend that I get rid of the musty odor, or you think I would be better? Yes.
Number one, I would do the research first. If you have high value paperbacks, then I would get that sent out. If you have low end and you're going to lot them together, just try to move them. If that scent is bothering you, though, I guarantee you it's going to bother a prospective buyer.
Okay.
People love that smell or they hate that smell. And it's the one that I cater to.
Yeah.
I use the ozone machine. It cost me $100, tote included. Max's method works just fine. My method works just fine. Pick something that works for you. I would try to eliminate the odor if you're going to sell these books. Thus his comment about research. You need to decide if it's worth your time before you even this whole process. If they're $5 junk books, then it's not worth your time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, but this is also Johnny. This is Johnny B's specialty as a vintage paperback. Go pick his brain a little bit.
I love those books. See, they're over there.
Awesome. So if you mentioned dryer sheet, should I go for like an unscented dryer sheet? Does it matter?
Yeah, you want scented. You want to
A
get the
scented
scent
dryer
out.
sheet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the books will smell floral and pretty.
Like flowers.
Okay.
I spray all my books with Axe body spray.
Really?
People love it.
That's why he has nothing but repeat customers.
People love it. People love it. You get it, you're like, oh, this book's great. All right, let me get it a little bit under here, a little bit over here. Yeah.
And to piggyback on Johnny B's comment, if they're not very good, if they're low end, just get rid of them, move on, go find some more books. Don't try to maximize everything you have, in your death piles. We have to get better at moving on and finding new stuff.
I turn and burn everything. People will probably be pissed off at the stuff I don't mess with, but listen, I got my time's valuable in other places more than it is trying to scoop up the pennies. I leave that to Johnny and Max. They got pennies full of socks laying around their houses and their warehouses. Not me. I'm like, get it out of here. I ain't got no.
A whole store of junk books.
I send Mike like 10 boxes of DVDs and CDs. He's like texting me. He's like, dude, I got this and this from it. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. I just want them gone. Like, I don't care if you make $1 million off it. When I scanned it, it wasn't worth it. You can have it. All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Yeah.
Good luck, Steph.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And reach out to Max. Same with Mercy. Mercy, I know you're looking to get into eBay. Reach out to Max on Instagram. Get his phone number because there's probably a lot of money in those Gaylords for eBay, and you can send it. You can see Max is getting all excited over here. You can just send him photos and send your stuff to Max, and he can sell it for you and split it 50-50. So that could be another huge bump in your revenue as you continue to do Gaylords. Yeah, I appreciate everybody hanging out. eBay's alive. Amazon is alive. Just keep doing what we're doing. As always, if you need us, reach out. And yeah, everybody have a good night, and hopefully a good Johnny B in chat. The last thing we're going to say here: Bonanza is dead. Max, you selling Bonanza?
I quit that years ago.
Unbelievable, dude. You got in. You were probably like a founding father, and you gave up on them.
I did get in early. I did sell a little bit, but it's a dying duck. It's
I get
not doing
like 2
good.
to 3 sales because it clones my eBay store a month. That's it.
Yeah, but that was the beauty of it. 5 years ago, you could clone your eBay store right on the Bonanza, and Bonanza was a lot bigger in my mind than it is now. And you could make 10 sales a week. I wouldn't even bother anymore.
Yeah,
you, Johnny B, you know this with me. I am so all in on Whatnot right now. It's not even funny.
I was gonna say Max is big on Whatnot as well. So if you're thinking about selling media on Whatnot, Max is kind of trying to be the founding father of a huge media channel on Whatnot. So yeah, definitely check him out over there as well. So all right, we're out of here. I appreciate everybody hanging out tonight over in YouTube land as well. Over here in the Discord.